So I'm going to talk today a little bit about the problem with these touchy-feely business planning, corporate retreats, corporate brainstorming, uh, that kind of stuff. Um, and really what to do about it, in my opinion. Now, last year I was actually hired to run a strategic planning retreat for a big corporate client of mine. And that was like a year and a half ago. So they hired me again this year. And next weekend I'll be flying out to run that retreat. But I posted a video about really mainly this was to support them. I posted a video about the process that I use for strategic planning. It's this like little 3-step process: organize, prioritize, or I'm sorry, I got it backwards because I'm looking at it backwards. Capture, prioritize, and organize. Just 3 things that we do in this in like about 2 days. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the second step in that process in just a second, but I want to talk about why do they hire me? Why does a big organization hire a coach to come in and hey Tamara, hire a coach to come in and help them to plan out their business? I mean, they're the experts. They're the ones that understand where they are, where they probably need to be. I don't know their business better than they do, right? So why do they bring a coach in? If you're a coach, you already know probably part of the answer to that, which is that coaches aren't here we're not experts, we're not necessarily know-it-alls, we don't have all the answers, but a lot of times we got the right questions. We can help as a sounding board. We can help facilitate the transformation that's needed to produce the results that organization already knows that they are committed to producing. You get the idea. This is not about telling somebody what to do. It's about bringing the best out in them through that process, right? So anyway, why do they hire me? Why do I get hired to do these strategic planning retreats? And it's because businesses never run out of problems. They never run out of challenges. They never run out of hunger for growth. They never run out of goals, and all of that stuff. Whether it's a problem they're trying to solve or a goal they're trying to achieve, all that stuff demands it demands a plan. You got to have a plan to actually execute on that stuff. Hey Pam, good to see you. We're all working on Saturday. It looks like that's good. You guys are probably doing your homework. So anyway, here's the problem though. This is why I said these touchy-feely, foo-foo corporate business planning retreats. There is a big problem with it, and the big problem is that most organizations that are hiring coaches, that are hiring facilitators or trainers to come in and do these kind of retreats for especially their executives. I mean, that's the worst. They think they're getting a lot done, and they're wasting their time. They're wasting a lot of their money. And I'm sure you've probably seen this. The corporate retreats, they get their team together. They get the organization brainstorming ideas. It's really, really inclusive stuff. Usually these kind of brainstorms include lots of sticky notes. They have these giant whiteboards. They stick the sticky notes on the whiteboard. Everybody gets up. They've got their sticky notes, and they can kind of push things around. I've been at these retreats before, and this is kind of the classic thing. They've got 37 different flip charts, and on and on and on. And look, I'm not putting down inclusiveness, and I don't want to get into a rant about this is so bad that everybody gets to share their ideas. I'm not against that. What I have an issue with is that there's this idea, this belief that, well, if everybody gets to share their ideas, we all get to brainstorm, and everybody's right. We're not gonna critique any of these ideas, then it's going to be so great. Everybody's going to love it, which is true. People love this stuff when they go to a retreat because they're like, I got to share my idea, and my idea got, voted up, and it's like, it's this really kind of feel-good thing. So I'm not against good feelings. The challenge that I see, or the problem that I have with this, is that if it's nothing but good feelings, then it ends up being a waste of the investment. Because an organization can't just have everybody feel good in the organization. The organization actually has to have the best ideas win. The organization actually has to execute something that's going to make a difference for the growth or the survival or the thriving or perfecting of that organization. I mean, business is war. Business is a battle. Business is for gladiators, as my mentor Tony Robbins loves to say. The longer that you are in business, the faster you die. That's just, this is just the way that is. And if that's a problem for your sensitivities about business, then I think we can already predict how your business would go if you ran one. And also, it doesn't mean that businesses won't hire you for that sensitivity. They just won't get anything out of it. Or their organization will just feel good for a day. And then what comes up must come down. It's like, that's just the way it is. I mean, who are we kidding, right? So that is the problem that I have, is that the group gets really excited. They get these couple really darling ideas, and the team is yelping and screaming and excited about how great it's going to be when this idea gets done. If you're on my email list, I actually emailed you this morning. So I'm reading my email that I wrote, but I really thought it had to be talked about here. So we get really excited about the ideas. There's a couple ideas that people are just kind of rallying around. It sounds great so far, right? But here are the potential problems. And I'm just going to read these. How did they figure out that the idea that they're championing, that's a great, championing. How did they figure out that the idea they're championing, that they're the champions of, is the one big idea that will help them the most? How do they know? What if that idea turns out to be a loser? What if the best idea got lost in the shuffle and now it's on the cutting room floor? What if the loudest voice in the room, because this is kind of a groups getting together, so the ones that are kind of quiet, they're hanging in the background, they're sharing ideas, but a lot of times people don't notice their ideas, but or they shared an idea, then the really loud one in the group, they're like, that's a great idea, let's do that, and everybody gets excited, right? It's like these all these little chimpanzees running around yelping about stuff. So what if the loudest voice in the room took over rather than the smartest or the best voice? So chances are one of those potential problems just became a reality. Because, what are the chances are, we've got 10 people in a room, they all came up with 10 ideas, you got 100 ideas, on the corporate whiteboard, on the sticky note pile, and what's the chance that the one or two out of 100 ideas that are the best, they're the ones that are going to save the company or grow the company or really change lives for everybody there, and really be economically feasible, not just emotionally feeling good? What are the chances that those 1 or 2% ideas are going to be the ones that people get real excited about? It's slim to none. So chances are one of the problems I just shared, they just became a reality. It doesn't mean that there wasn't a good idea shared or wasn't a good idea that it's this is the one we will really want to execute, that we're excited about. It's that's probably not the one that is the winner. It's almost guaranteed that the loser gets chosen on that one. Even if it's your idea, it's not necessarily the winner. And so there's one problem to rule them all. that causes those kind of problems, and that is groupthink. Groupthink has just taken over in these little retreats. And as a result, the priorities get lost. The fact is, most corporate brainstorming retreats, they're just high-end, foo-foo, mob rule. It's like, let's really feel good about where the mob is going to take us, right? And if the mob takes you down the wrong road, no matter how excited the mob is, it's the wrong road. The fact is that these mobs, they don't make very smart decisions usually. They're not the most intelligent decision makers. And people, I hear this all the time. People love to say, if everybody likes it, it must be good. It must be a great idea. Let's see what the group gets behind. Let's see what they're going to champion. Let's see what torch they're going to bear. And big corporations love this. By the way, why do they love it? Is it because it's the smartest thing to do? No. It's because they're incentivized to love that. How are they incentivized? If I'm a big organization, I've got like 1,000 people working for me, how am I incentivized to do a retreat that's going to turn my business upside down, that's going to, probably be not as productive as it could be, or if nothing else, hurt the business, as long as the group feels good about it? It's because, guess what? If I'm running that organization at that point, I was probably almost elected. I probably moved up in the ranks because of popularity in politics just as much as me making really smart decisions. The smartest people don't always end up at the top, especially of these large organizations with a lot of resources, right? It's the good politicians a lot of times. Hopefully you get a balance of that. But if I'm a good politician, what do I care about the most? What am I really concerned about? That's right, I'm concerned about what everybody thinks, how they feel. Because if everybody's angry, everybody's upset, nobody liked the decisions that we made, they're not popular, even if they're smarter, even if they were the better ideas, suddenly I might lose my job. So most of the time people don't get in trouble, especially the leaders. They don't get in trouble with going after the popular opinion. They say, well, that was our whole company did that. I'm not responsible for it. It's where our business is going. So that's why this happens. It's like a high-end foo-foo form of mob rule, as I said in my email this morning. Mobs don't make smart decisions. What a waste. What a waste of time. What a waste of effort. What a waste of good ideas. There were probably a lot of good ideas that were on that, that sticky note board. They got lost. Yeah, there goes the needs. Thanks, Tamara, for that. People are driven by not like the right answer, not the truth. Although a lot of people like to argue that they are. We're driven by meeting our needs. And so what do we do to meet our needs? Well, we do a whole lot of things that aren't necessarily the smartest things, not necessarily the best things in the long term. They might just feel good in the short term, which are our psychological needs are met. And when there's a group, it's even worse, because the group is all trying to meet their psychological needs, and if there's a smart idea that didn't do that, all of a sudden it gets shot down. Or it's just not championed, like it would be in one of these little mob rule retreats. So it ends up just being a waste. The fact is, I'll read from my little email here, not all ideas are created equal. During a strategic planning process, your client or your company must prioritize all those ideas, the actions, the goals, the directives that the organization brainstormed. So you can have a great brainstorm. I don't mind using sticky notes for a brainstorm, being inclusive. I think during a brainstorm, it's actually a pretty cool idea that we don't make anybody's ideas wrong. We want everyone to feel really welcome to share their ideas. That's cool. In fact, some people, we need to drag the ideas out of them. Okay, let's capture those ideas. That's the first step in this process. We want to capture. It's kind of like a weird picture. It's like sucking the goo out of everybody's brains. But anyway, you get the idea. It's the capture step. Everybody's right in the capture step. Everybody gets a trophy, right? Then things change, though. They need to change during this second step, this priority step. You got to prioritize all those ideas, actions, goals, directions that the organization brainstormed. Only when the most intelligent thinking strategically prioritizes these ideas. Fancy way of saying the smartest decisions are made about the right priorities, making the perfect priorities. Only then can there be any real value from all the excitement in a retreat like this. The point is, part of the planning process, if you're facilitating one of these retreats, and if I'm doing it, part of the planning process has got to be to prioritize. So when I run these, I facilitate discovering, championing the priorities. It's probably 90% of the value that I bring to one of these big corporate client retreats. So that's the point for today. Any thoughts on this? Let me know. Pop it in the chat. Here's what I'd invite you to do, though, is if this made any sense and you saw that, okay, like for my corporate customers or the people that I'm coaching, or, I mean, look, even micro businesses, this is great, that you see that sorting out priorities is important. Here's the question I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to give you an answer, but not today, not in this kind of live conversation. I really want to talk about why this is important today rather than like how to do it, but I'm going to give you the how-to. The question I'd leave you with is, if you know that corporations or individuals in any strategically heavy situation, in business and sales and somebody trying to work out the economics and the career of their life, so to speak, if you know that these priorities are easy to get lost, they're easy to get forgotten, especially in a group, if you're facilitating group coaching or a corporate retreat or something like that, how do you think through priorities? How do you guide your organizations or your individuals that you coach to think through those priorities? Because guess what? They don't know how to do it a lot of times. Like, they might have an idea of what's most important. You can ask them what they think is most important, but a lot of times they don't have a clue as to what's really most important, or they have a clue, but they can't work out the finer points of that. And this is something that, people aren't trained in, okay? A lot of times, most of the time, coaches aren't trained in this. So I put together a video. I've been working on this all week, and I did this mainly because of the retreat that I'm going to be leading next weekend. And this actually covers how to work through priorities with a corporate client especially, but any organization, any team. And so I just popped it in the chat, and check out that video. It's a pretty thick video. It's got a lot of detail to it, and it's going to take you through some of the mindsets and some of the thinking processes for working out priorities, especially for an organization. If you're on YouTube, I'll pop it in the chat as well in a little while, but I wanted to give you that. And I also put together a kind of a cheat sheet for this, a PDF download that'll give you everything I cover in this 20-minute video. I put it together on our blog. You can go there right now. I just popped it in the chat. Just go ahead and download that. And if you don't want to watch the video, you can just check out. Literally, it's a one-pager because my customers a lot of times have ADD and they need to see it all in like bullet points on one page. So check that out. By the way, if you want to see the video where I cover the first step in this process, I'm going to also pop this in the chat. This is the capture step. This is the part that really is cool if you want to pop sticky notes all over the place. That would be the place to go for that first step. Just remember, you got to prioritize as well. Anyway, that's it for today. If you are not on our Facebook group, check it out and join it. It's a private group, but I will let you in if I see that you asked to join. We just want to filter out anybody who's not real, like a bot or something like that. I just popped that in the chat, and pretty soon I'm only posting these videos there. I'm only going to put them on that Facebook group or on our YouTube live stream. So if you're not on YouTube, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell, I guess. You have to hit this little bell, and then you'll get the the updates when I actually go live. So I just popped that in the chat as well. Too late, Dan. I'm out of here. You can watch the replay, I think. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Any questions, any thoughts on this, let me know. Yeah, you got it, Tamara. Thanks for being on live. And share this with the companies that you are working with so they get a sense of why this is so important, because they don't know, and they're just led by whatever the whatever the common wisdom is, which is usually not very wise. Talk to you later.